Alright guys, so here we have my hunter with his axe, the blood spiller. I was actually running a dungeon though with a guildmate and then came across this axe, which is massive battle axe of I believe the eagle. And it's the same thing. So apparently this is a pretty universal model. So I'm going to make this axe in real life. The only thing I want to change is I'm not going to make a steel handle, because if you've ever hit anything with a steel handle, it hurts your hands a lot. So I'm going to use a hickory handle, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to make that in real life. Alright, here I'm just cutting out the blades for the massive battle axe on my CNC plasma table. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the eye out of a separate piece of steel, just like we did with the Ravager, if you've seen that video. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. That's actually the favorite axe that I have so far. I've made 3 axes. Made this one, Ravager, and the Whirlwind. Alright guys, so I have the blades cut out right here, cleaned up a little bit, and I have our handle. It's actually a sledgehammer handle, which will work great because this thing's going to be so heavy, it's going to be the weight of a sledge. And then I have this Schedule 80 pipe. We're going to use the Schedule 80 pipe as the eye. So what I'm going to do is, because the axe handle is more oval shaped, this is more circular, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that to the right length, and I'm going to put it in my forge, heat it up, and then get my anvil out and just kind of flatten it out just a little bit so it fits right. And then I'm also going to extend this part of the axe where it's for the eye. I'm going to sand that down and make that longer, because obviously our eye is going to have to be a lot longer for how big these and wide these blades are going to be. Alright, here I am trying to form the eye for the massive battle axe. I actually burned my hand right before this and just soaked my hand in water. But if you do welding or blacksmithing or anything, you're pretty much dealing with anything hot. Really ought to get some like aloe vera. I keep it in the refrigerator, but even if you just get a plant or something, it's really helpful because you can get pretty bad burns, and if you treat it right away, it really won't mess you up too much. Like, all I have on my hand right now is I have a blister on one of my fingers from burning it. But otherwise, I think it would have been a lot worse. I think I wouldn't be able to feel my thumb currently. Yeah, I'm just trying to get this thing the right shape. Honestly, I probably should have used something a little bit narrower, because this eye is too loose on the axe. I mean, ideally you want it to kind of have to force it on there a little bit, but the Schedule 80 pipe's what I could find locally. And here I am just trying to shave the handle down so it's all uniform essentially with the top of it, so there's not really any like high spots or low spots. I honestly got carried away once again. Head was looser on the handle than I would like it to be. But live and learn. Alright, here I am just cleaning up pieces for welding. Got my 2 blades in the eye. I honestly really don't mind grinding too much, especially like this where you're not shooting the sparks at yourself. Sometimes that metal dust really sucks. If you ever get metal dust or fiberglass on you, remember to take a cold shower, because it will get into your pores and it gives you a really nasty rash. Don't ask me how I know. I mean, very unpleasant. It's even worse with aluminum. Steel's not as bad, but you still want to take cold showers because, like I said, the hot water will open up your pores, the metal will sink in, and you get these really nasty blisters that are actually full of metal. Super unpleasant. Same thing's true with fiberglass. If you're working with fiberglass, take a cold shower. Alright guys, I don't know if I'm in the camera shot or not, but as you can see, I got this thing jigged up, tried to line it up and everything. I got my angle iron in there, and then got pieces of steel, wedged them in the handle to try to keep this thing aligned, and I got spacered in there. what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack weld this thing, and then make sure it's where I want it to be, then I'll weld it solid. Ooh, a little bit there. So we got 3 little tack welds there. I'm actually going to pull the handle out and see how it looks. It's heavy. Passes the eyeball test. I think it'll be okay. When I was welding this, I don't really know why, but for whatever reason, the one side just didn't really want to weld quite right. I don't know if I didn't prep it right. I think I did. I know sometimes, I don't know if, I think it's an inconsistency in the alloys, honestly. But every once in a while you get a piece of metal and it just has spots in it that just don't want to weld right, and the weld just doesn't want to bite into it right, and it's like it's just not the same as the rest of the metal. So sometimes you can kind of compensate by turning your heat way up, and then it just gets so hot it doesn't really matter. But in this case, I figured it didn't matter enough for me to really mess with it, so I just kind of left it be. Alright, we got it all welded. We got the handle. Got the head. Here I am putting the head on the handle for the axe. I knew it was going to be loose, but I didn't know it was going to be this loose. It was honestly pretty uncomfortably loose. I mean, normally when you put a head on an axe or a hammer, or really any kind of striking tool, or pickaxe, you want it to be, you want to have to kind of force the head on. Whereas this one, I mean, you saw it. I pretty much just dropped this thing on. And you can even see it when I put in the wedge. Usually when you put in the wedge, it's supposed to stick up a little bit while you're done, and you're going to have to cut it off because it's not going to sandwich out that much. But if you watch when I put this one in, it just dries all the way in, which is really not great, honestly. But I did compensate for it later, and you'll see how I did that in the next clip here. Got the wedges in. Alright guys, I'm going to be honest, that really didn't go as well as I hoped it would. The handle's a lot looser in the head than I wanted it to be. So what I tried to do is drill a couple holes in here and fill epoxy into there to try to get it to sit a little bit better and be a little bit more snug on there. You know, I'm learning though. I mean, I'm not going to do everything perfect, especially on these few first weapons. Trying to figure it out as I go. You know, don't be the guy that doesn't admit he makes mistakes, because that's when you really get people into trouble and you do dangerous things. Alright, now that we have the head all secured on the axe and everything, I'm going ahead and I'm on my belt sander here. I'm putting an edge on this thing. Honestly, putting an edge on it was pretty interesting because it's just so big and heavy. Trying to position it and everything while you're sharpening it was pretty, honestly, kind of awkward. But it wasn't too terrible because the shape's not as complex. The only part I had to go back and actually sharpen with just a hand grinder is the very edge toward the handle, because there's just no way I could get it that close to the belt sander without sanding the handle. And even then, I still don't think it would be possible to do. But in some ways, sharpening is kind of the coolest part, though, because you kind of finally get to see, it doesn't just look like a silhouette anymore, it actually looks like a real axe. Alright guys, here we have our massive battle axe all done, sharpened, ready to go. And it is massive, it's really freaking heavy. But I'm going to try cutting this root beer, which I know will. But then I'm going to try cutting this tire and see what it does to this tire. Alright, you guys can kind of get a scale of this thing now. It's pretty big. Hopefully this thing stays in. Now I can get my axe out of the log. Alright, let's try and see what it does to this tire. I don't know how to really position this thing. Guess I'll put it like that and see what happens. Hopefully this thing doesn't just swing up and hit me in the face. Apparently it didn't do much of anything. Ah. Yeah, Goodrich makes good tire apparently. You should put that in a commercial. Yeah, it really didn't do much of anything. It's just too much bounce in it. But I think that's that for that portion of testing. Can't cut through a tire with it. Alright guys, I'm going to try to redeem it after that tire thing by hitting this dump truck, and we'll see what it does to an old dump truck. It doesn't really do nothing. It did not redeem it. It's just like hitting with a sledge. Alright guys, I got the Ravager out here with the massive battle axe because I just kind of want to make a point. The problem with this axe and trying to do stuff like this or piercing, you know, plate armor or whatever, is it's just got such a broad edge, there's nothing to pierce with. With the Ravager, you know, you got something to pierce with, so I think I'm going to go right through this thing. So I just kind of want to get this thing out to make a point. We'll see what it does. I think it'll work. Yeah, see, it goes right in. Because this has piercing power, whereas this doesn't. The edge is just way too broad. Do I think you could take out somebody with plate armor with this thing? Yeah, absolutely, but mainly because it's the weight of a sledgehammer and you just cave it in on them, not because you'd actually pierce it. But you'd crush their plate armor so much they couldn't breathe, so. You can still use it. I just don't think it'd be good as the Ravager or even the Whirlwind if you've seen that video. Alright, now we're going to do something I'm pretty confident this thing will be good at, and that's splitting wood. I mean, it is the axe after all. I can get it out of the log. Good for that. Nothing else can use it for splitting wood this fall. So the plan was here is I was going to light this thing on fire and then try to split wood with it. But no matter what I did to this thing, I could not get this thing to light like I wanted it to. Like you can kind of see the silhouette here, but it's just really not what I wanted it to be, and honestly I don't think it would have stayed lit if I tried to swing it like that. I don't know if I had defective fiery essence or what, but it just wouldn't light. And you can see I tried multiple things. Here's another thing I tried. And what was especially frustrating is it would light on everything except for what I was trying to light on fire, which is my axe. So like I'd test it, it'd work. I'd actually use it, it wouldn't work. So I eventually decided to screw it. I was frustrated. I'm gonna split some wood with this thing anyway. Just get my frustration out, if nothing else. Looks kind of cool, I guess, here, but just not what I wanted it to be. I'm kind of disappointed, honestly. Alright guys, I'm Mythos Mike, and this is my massive battle axe from the World of Warcraft. I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, and share with a friend. See if anybody you know would be interested in this kind of content. And check out my other videos. And if you didn't like the video, leave a comment and let me know I could do better. I mean, I think this is my 5th video. But yeah, just let me know. Thanks, guys.